I journeyed into the depths of the MCU to find me the most powerful entity there was ever established. Now, this video is going to be tough. This is going to be probably my most controversial video of all time because it's so hard to rank beings, especially of the cosmic variety. And there's so many fans that get into wars in Reddit and Discords and Quora about this kind of shit. I think this is a definitive list of the current MCU, and I'm talking only Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm not going to try to touch on the comics at all, just what we've seen in the movie. Only the beings we've seen or been directly referenced, okay? I'm not going to talk about beings that we think may exist based on the comics, okay? So, we do have the Living Tribunal directly referenced in several movies, Doctor Strange and Thor Love and Thunder with a statue of his, okay? We have barely seen any of him. I will assume that he is probably number one on this list, if the one above all is not a thing. But the thing is, if the Living Tribunal exists, God himself, one above all, is there, okay? But I can't put these two on the list because it's just too OP, okay? I can't. I'm not counting them. I'm talking about beings we've explicitly seen and have been referenced to the point where they actually have some kind of change to the storyline that they're in, okay? Now we're gonna go with the bottom feeders. The beings that aren't really cosmic, but they're powerful in their own right. They're just specks of dust compared to the people at the top, all right? We got Captain Marvel. Basically, the chick Marvel itself wants to convince you is the most powerful superhero in the entire Avengers roster, which is not true. But she got power from the Power Stone or Space Stone, and listen, Thanos tried to headbutt her. He couldn't do shit. He had to pull an Infinity Stone out and punch her with it. He was shitting himself before that. Okay, clearly she's very powerful. She blew through his entire warship like it was nothing. Infinity War Thor. I'm sorry, this dude took his axe and swung it, and it cut through the blast of a fully formed Infinity Gauntlet and had Thanos almost dead. That is one of the best feats in Marvel history, okay? He is above Captain Marvel, I don't care. Not what he turned into after or what he was before. This was peak Thor.
As an honorable mention, I have to mention Hela in here somewhere. So I'm gonna put her either on or over Thor in this specific list.
Scarlet Witch. Look at that smile. Very, very attractive woman, all right? She deserves to be on this list for the looks alone, but she could destroy the entire universe. Maybe even the entire multiverse. I think Wong even stated the Scarlet Witch is a universal destroyer force, okay? She clearly has a lot of power. She can manipulate reality. She has spells. She can incinerate people. She genocided an entire temple of wizards who were, like, trained by Doctor Strange and Wong, right? Like, she made Doctor Strange and Wong her bitches throughout the movie. Obviously, she has to be here. Tied with Scarlet Witch is Sentry. Okay, now people are gonna get pissed because Sentry is largely untested in the Thunderbolts movie. He just beat he beat the washed Avengers, essentially. I get it. I'm not trying to use the comic books. If we're going by comic book Sentry, that dude is a different level, right? We know he can manipulate reality to some degree. Void Sentry is almost unstoppable. Now, Wanda could break out of that dimension of the void of nothingness, but the super speed of Sentry and his nigh invulnerability, I'm sorry, bro, he's problems for everybody. Him at his peak, yes, I know he's lost to Rune Thor in the comic. People are gonna mention Rune Thor. Bro, I'm talking MCU only. Movies. He's a G. We haven't seen much of him, so I'm tying him with Scarlet Witch. He has an asterisk on him. I probably would put Scarlet Witch above him right now, but I'm going, fuck Scarlet Witch, man. She's a psychopath. And Bob don't fuck around.
As another add-on, Surtur from Thor Ragnarok needs to be here because he literally destroyed Asgard and Hela with one blow. So he definitely needs to be here. And then Prime Odin, Skyfather Odin, who we haven't really seen much of, to be honest, but we do know he defeated Surtur and took the Eternal Flame, so we can assume he's more powerful than most of the people that we've seen so far on the list.
Now we get to the heavy hitters. God. The Celestial, I forgot his name, man. The Celestial from Eternals. This dude has aura beyond. Emirish, I forgot his name. You know, he is a cosmic engineer. That's what he does. He judges entire civilizations. He uses life. He can create life. He can destroy planets, for fuck's sake. He can travel throughout the universe with wormholes, right? Nigh omniscient, indestructible, all that shit. He is basically the closest thing to a god that Eternals even showed us. Okay? He is a different level of being. I love this dude. I wish I remembered his name because I literally had it ready to go. You know his name. Supreme Strange from What If. Now, I did not know whether I was going to put him above the Celestial, but honestly, this dude destroyed an entire universe. He literally made the Infinity Stones of Infinity Ultron glitch out when he was when he was fighting it, and he led the Avengers against Infinity Ultron, who's the most powerful villain we've seen so far. So, yeah, I have to mention him. This dude destroyed entire universes for his girlfriend, for fuck's sake. He has Lovecraftian demons inside of him. You have to put him there. The Watcher. The all-knowing, all-seeing, omniscient one. I'm putting him above Supreme Strange because Supreme Strange is directly stated or inferred that Yuata, the Watcher, is more powerful than him probably. Yuata fought Infinity Ultron. He did lose, but he fought him hand to hand. You cannot tell me this dude doesn't deserve to be at the freaking top of this list just for this feat alone. This dude's a different level of being. He exists on a different dimension, a different plane of reality itself, right? We can't even fathom what he sees. There's not a lot of beings who could take this dude, all right? Dormammu. I don't know. I had no idea where to put Dormammu on this list because in the comics, Dormammu is so unbelievably OP, and even in the movies, he's OP. He does have a very specific weakness, which we're going to get to, but Dormammu, the issue with Dormammu is there's an asterisk with him too. Because I think guys like the Watcher and maybe Supreme Strange at his absolute peak could beat Dormammu. Dormammu in the Dark Dimension is virtually unstoppable. If he takes you in there, you're fucking dead. You're dead. You're done. But outside of that, he's still a force to be reckoned with. But I see other beings on this list being able to beat him. Not the bottom feeders. I mean like the Watcher, Supreme Strange, and the guys we're about to talk about. Dormammu has an asterisk to him. In the comics, yes, Dormammu like beats a lot of people, but in the movies, we don't know. Largely untested still. Now we're gonna get to the godlike ones. I have to mention him, Infinity Ultron. This dude, Dormammu, what are you gonna do, bro? You were struggling against Doctor Strange with the time zone. Imagine this dude who can manipulate the fabric of reality itself with all the stones. He devoured galaxies, devoured entire universes for fuck's sake. Bruh. Yeah, you have to be at the top of the list. This is the most powerful villain we've seen. I don't know what they're gonna do with Doctor Doom. I don't know what they're gonna do with Galactus. But so far, this is the most powerful being I've seen in the MCU. Can someone remind me if there's a more powerful one? People would mention Dormammu, but we didn't even see shit from Dormammu. I think this guy's it. Okay. The God of Stories. What Loki turns into in season 2. Basically, he becomes the thing that's holding the multiverse together. He is like I think he becomes the universal tree or something, right? If he drops his hands, our entire reality doesn't exist. This dude is he transcends the multiverse. All these beings that we've just mentioned are part of a universe within the multiverse. He transcends that. He holds the strings together. Now, yes, we don't know what his capabilities are beyond that. We don't know if he can die, right? It's widely theorized that he will die in Doomsday, right? Again, Loki's gonna fucking die again. So I assume he can be beaten, but the thing is, how can you even fight this guy? He's beyond the multiverse. He's beyond the cosmic forces themselves. You can't do much to him. Now, most people will say, Zafy, how the hell is this guy not number 1? Who the fuck else is number 1? We're gonna mention a number 1 that I think even goes beyond him. But this dude, he doesn't embody the multiverse. He like guards it. He holds it together. He's more powerful than all these idiots that we just mentioned. Okay, tied with Loki is Lady Death, who is shown in Agatha, and it's the concept of death has been inferred and touched upon in the MCU way before this, okay? The death is a universal constant, right? If Loki decides to zap a timeline, or Infinity Ultron decides to eliminate an entire planet or galaxy, she's there. She's powered up. She's behind all of that. Death, they cannot destroy life without her. She is beyond them, right? I don't know if she can beat Loki in a fight. These are two abstract beings at that point, right? There's no beating each other in a fight. But I would put them up in the same level because she's a universal constant, right? When the freaking Big Bang started, she was like there. She was one of the 4 forces. I believe it was infinity, entropy, her, and eternity. We're going to get to one of the people I just mentioned. She has to be put in here. Look, I don't want to mention the comics, but remember, Thanos with the Infinity Stones was trying to impress this bitch, okay? So I'm going to assume that time stones, space stones, that holds no domain over her because she's a universal constant. The Infinity Stones cannot erase death without a cost. Remember the Soul Stone? When Black Widow died, they couldn't bring her back. death took her. So the Infinity Stones couldn't even surpass death at that point, right? That was the deal. The deal you cannot unmake the deal with death. It was established you can't use a reality stone or any stones to bring her back, even if you snapped. So death is beyond the Infinity Stones. And Loki and the TVA, literally Infinity Stones are used as like paperweights. Bro, these guys are beyond any of the beings in these individual universes. Now we're gonna get to the one. This is the most controversial thing I've ever said. Maybe. I do think the fans who know who know shit, they know what I'm talking about, right? Eternity. Don't leave. Don't leave, please. There are two modes here. There are two forms of eternity I want to speak on. There's a universal form versus the multiversal form. The universal form of eternity, arguably, you could beat him. One of these beings could beat him, because remember, Loki tethers multiple universes, right? Entity might embody one of those universes. So you could say Loki's beyond him. But the multiversal eternity, which I think is the one we saw in Thor Love and Thunder, he resides in his pocket dimension in the center of the universe, or the multiverse. But also, eternity is known throughout the multiverse as eternity, right? Also, he's the embodiment of the universe itself. The only one to surpass him is the Living Tribunal, who is multiversal. In Doctor Strange, when he's going through all these universes, Eternity's there. And Eternity's also there in the Thor Love and Thunder as a statue in the background. So you know this guy is like the guardian and judge of the entire multiverse, second to only the one above all. If we have to assume that. I don't want to use the comic book lore, but we have to assume the only one above Eternity is him, who is multiversal in nature. Okay? I think the MCU is not going to establish another larger eternity than this. The writers are just not going to do that. I don't think we're seeing another eternity, but I think this is the MCU's eternity. So I think this is the multiversal eternity, which means he is beyond that. When Loki's holding up these strings, these timelines together, the dimension he is in, that void, eternity embodies that too. He embodies everything, all of space and time, ever, forever. He embodies it. He's everywhere all at once. You can't fight him, and ultimately, he can grant you any wish. He literally, if Gore wanted to, he could have killed all the gods instantly, and maybe all the gods in the entire multiverse, right? And you got to ask, okay, there were 4 entities born when the Big Bang happened, right? Eternity, entropy, infinity, and death, right? Why would eternity be beyond them? I don't know if he's beyond entropy or infinity, but he brought back a girl from the dead, which means he can circumnavigate death itself too. He can change the rules up and change the dictates of death, because if someone wishes and enters into his gates, you're beyond death. And I can assume if he's beyond her, why not be beyond your other siblings? In fact, I think entropy or infinity is his son. So of course he's going to son all of them. Eternity is number 1 in my opinion that we've ever seen. Okay? I'm sorry. You can't fight him. If you have someone else in mind who's more powerful, then you can put it in the comments. I think Eternity is number 1. I don't know who the hell's beating him in a fight. I think that's the most powerful being we've ever seen. Non-cosmic or cosmic. If you want to know who's the most powerful superhero in the MCU, you can watch this video over here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. But the army must keep growing. If you want to suggest video topics to me, or talk about your favorite movies or favorite film theories in a community with like-minded individuals, join the Zafy Discord now. Link is in the description and the comment section as well. Join us. This movement is just beginning. We're taking over Hollywood, one coke line at a time.